Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Just starting up the broadcast here. Make sure everything is loading appropriately. Let's see. Why do I not see it on the Patreon page right now? Well, that is interesting. It should be loading up there right now. Why do I not see it? Huh. Okay, that's bizarre. It's supposed to be there. Let me see if I can. Why is it not up? That is concerning. Okay, let's try this again here. All right, let me see. Supposed to have one right now. Okay, I gotta go one more minute out. What? I do not know why we're not on the air right now. I already had all this all set up. All right, bear with me, Truth Seekers. It makes you wait 5 minutes before it fires up on Patreon. Unless it's going right now. Oh, it looks like it did start. And it's just behind schedule. Huh. Very strange. All right, okay. I thought we were having some technical troubles here. For some reason, it was behind schedule. It should have popped up about a minute or two before it did. All right, wait for a few more people to get in here. Turn off the volume here. All right, sorry about that, you guys. I thought we had some glitch, and I thought I had to restart it. And the problem is, whenever you schedule one of these live streams on Patreon, you have to schedule it for at least 5 minutes in the future. You can't like just schedule it for right at the moment and make it start. And I don't really know what the purpose of that is because no one can even see it anyway. So until it does start, but anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So again, I want to talk about where we missed or where I missed on Thursday Night Football. I did say that the one possible narrative for the Eagles win was the fact that Eli could pick up his 52nd loss at home in week 6. And we know how strong the relationship is with 6 and 52. And I guess that was the only narrative that mattered in light of the Eagles having just won Super Bowl 52. I also noticed after the game, it was 252 days after the Super Bowl, which is kind of an interesting number, 252. And of course, it was also a date that had the 41 numerology, the big Super Bowl number where the Eagles won with 41. So I suppose in the end, also Carson Wentz, his 33rd game, the Eagles improved to 3-3 in New York. I suppose that was the riddle. But again, the things that we looked at were how many of Eli's win records would have been perfect with a defeat over Philadelphia, and also just how nice the date numerology was for New York. That's been a very favorable number in New York sports history, but not this year. So the Sunday games, they're falling on October 14th, 2018. Going to be a date with 62 numerology. We saw that week number huge in the Christopher Columbus Day games. The football game summed to 62 points. Monday Night Football, Saints over the Redskins. Drew Brees' record pass was a 62-yarder. In baseball, we saw the the Dodgers beat the Braves 6-2. And remember, genocide is 62. Clever little riddle with the natives. This week on this date with 62 numerology, as we'll get to, is the Chiefs game with the Patriots playing. So don't forget that number 62. It's also a date with a life lesson number of 35. I call that the Tom Brady number. Of course, football and Super Bowl have the gematria 35 in the septenarian Chaldean ciphers. QB has the gematria 35 with the reverse alphabetic order. So big number there, 35. Numbers to watch for the day. It's also a date with 44 numerology, 17 numerology, 42, 24. And it is the 14th. Don't forget that football equals 43. 43 is the 14th prime. October 14th is also the day leaving 78 days left in the year. Always want to pay attention to the numbers corresponding with the date, because so often they show up in the games in a number of ways. And this game comes 112 days before the Super Bowl. As we know in the base ciphers, Super Bowl's a word with gematria of 112. Common one. So that said, first game up, Bucks at the Falcons. The Bucks are 2-2. They're 1-1 on the road. The Falcons, who are hosting the Super Bowl, off to a 1-4 start and are 1-2 at home. Atlanta is a 3-point favorite. The over-under is at 57.5. This will be the 50th regular season game, and the Falcons lead 25-24. Keep in mind, Falcons equals 25. They once suffered the 25-point comeback by the Patriots on 2/5, losing in the Super Bowl to conclude the 97th NFL season, the 25th prime. If Atlanta were to lose, they would fall to 1-5, and Atlanta, in our most pure of the base ciphers, is 15, reduction gematria. Atlanta could also improve to 2-4 on a date with 24 numerology. So, things to think about. The QBs, we have Jameis Winston, Jameis Winston, and Matt Ryan. This is going to be Winston's 46th game. He is 18-27. On the road, he is 8-14. That means he could pick up his 15th loss in Atlanta. Atlanta equals 15, as does Tampa. This is going to be Matt Ryan's 174th game. He is 173. At home, he is 57-30. I meant to put the note here. He could pick up his 101st win, which is the 26th prime number, and the Falcons could pick up their 26th win in the series. Remember, the Falcons were the victim of the 26 ritual to open the season. The first game of the season, Thursday Night Football against the Eagles. We said why the Eagles were going to win that one, why it was all about 26. It was a really clear riddle. There was date numerology at 26. I have someone in my ear right now saying that I should start using the Jewish calendar as well to decode games. It's an interesting thought. This year's NFL season did begin on the 26th of Elul as well, the Jewish calendar. And there's a lot of reasons to think the AFC will pick up their 26th Super Bowl win in Atlanta this year. In light of this game being 112 days before the Super Bowl, that could be the defining riddle. The fact that the Falcons can pick up their 26th win, Matt Ryan can get his 101st, the 26th prime, possible. So again, Matt Ryan's 173, and at home he's 57-30. For the regular season, this is Matt Ryan's 164th game, not counting the playoffs. That's the difference. He's 96-67. At home, he is 54-27. Potentially pick up that 97th win. Again, that's the 25th prime. Appeared in Super Bowl 90, the Super Bowl to conclude the 97th NFL season. It's also the year they moved the touchback to 25 yards. Doing everything mathematically. The game's 150 days after Ryan's birthday, or on his 151st day of his age. It's the 36th prime number. The game is 280 days, or a span of 281 days after Winston's birthday. That's also 40 weeks. Atlanta Falcons has that gematria 40. For the coaches, it's Dirk Cutter's 37th game. He's 16-20. Buccaneers has the gematria of 37 in light of it being his 37th game. It's going to be Dan Quinn's 54th game. He's 30-23. He could potentially pick up his 24th loss on a date with 24 numerology. In light of it being his 54th game, Jesuit Order 54, Arthur Blank has the same birthday as the Jesuit Order. He's the owner of the Falcons. The Jesuit colors red and black. The Falcons colors red and black. Pope Francis blessed Super Bowl 51. It was 51 days from his birthday. It's the one the Falcons lost in. The game comes 19 days before Quinn's birthday. The word win has gematria 19. I think that's interesting. Game is 251 days, or a span of 252 days from Cutter's birthday. 251 is the 54th prime, and it's Dan Quinn's 54th game. I like the Falcons in this one. This isn't a game I would put in a parlay because the narrative's not super clear. There's nothing that jumps out definitively. But I do like the ritual with 101 and 26 in light of how important those numbers are to this season. So favor the Falcons there. You know what I'm going to do? Before I move on to the next game, let's just do this since we're having a discussion. Before I go on to the next game, Martin Brown points out that it's going to be Winston's 47th overall game. 47 is the 15th prime. Atlanta has that gematria 15. The one thing that's scary for Atlanta is that they could fall to 1-5. Then next week, Monday Night Football is Giants and Falcons, and whoever won that game would be 2-5. And Giants and Falcons both have gematria 25. Chris points out that Matt Ryan can go 14-7 against the Falcons in his 21st matchup with the Bucs. 21 weeks is 147 days. That's interesting. It's a good observation. I know what you meant, brother. Let's see. Yeah, Dan Quinn does have the September 11th birthday. The year the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, the first Sunday was on September 11th. That was the same Hillary Clinton did her falling ritual. Never forget it. Lawrence likes the Bucs. Lawrence, why do you like the Bucs? What do you see in the Bucs there? If you guys are going to say you like a team, please express why, because that's what we're doing here. We're having a conversation about what we see. Okay, he's saying Falcons coach has 23 loss and could pick up the 24 on the date with 24 numerology. That was one of the things that's favorable for the Bucs. But then again, you know, the Falcons could improve 2-4 on a date with 24 numerology. So, you know, that stat's a wash. Again, the narrative that I'm coming back to is that 101 and 26 thing. Those are big numbers. Remember, Philadelphia has the gematria of 101. The 26th prime, flag 26. Those are the numbers we started the season with, and the Falcons were part of that ritual. So, Chris says he's got the Giants Decode Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, you could be right about the Bucs, Lawrence. I mean, if you're feeling Bucs, you know, stick with your gut. But because, like I said, it's not a clear read. I wouldn't put this game in a parlay. I would not put this game in a parlay. But, you know, go with the gut. Let's look at the next game, Steelers and Bengals. So the Steelers are 2-2-1. They're 1-0-1 away. And the Bengals are 4-1, 2-0 at home. Cincinnati's a 2-point favorite. 2 has that gematria of 58, like how Pittsburgh equals 58. The over-under is at 52.5. hanging right there at 53, Pennsylvania 53, the year of Super Bowl 53. We know what's special about that number. This is going to be the 96th regular season game between the two teams, their first meeting this season. And Cincinnati has that gematria of 96. We've seen that number be big for Cincinnati this year. Remember, the season began on September 6th, and there was the shooting at 5/3 Bank in Cincinnati. Do you remember that? The same day as the opening day, and then Cincinnati started the season 2-0, beating the Colts in Baltimore by the same score. There was a tribute to the fact that the Colts were once in Baltimore 34 years ago. In the playoffs, okay, so the Steelers lead 60-35. In the playoffs, Steelers lead 2-0. So all time, they're 62-35. And remember, these are both numbers that connect to the date numerology. The date numerology was 62-35. All time, this will be the 98th game. That means when they play their final game this year in the regular season, it'll be their 99th meeting in the 99th NFL season, division rivals. The Bengals could improve to 5-1 with a win. Cincinnati has that gematria of 51 as well. Base ciphers right here, Cincinnati. Cincinnati could be 5-1 with a win in the 96th game. The Bengals can improve to 3-0 at home. Remember, Steelers has that gematria of 113, the 30th prime. Be a good team to go 3-0 against at home. If this, I point out here that if the Steelers became 2-4-1 over the next 2 weeks, that'd be a lot like 241, which is the 53rd prime number in light of this season being the year of Super Bowl 53. Their next meeting is 11 weeks after today. 66 is the 11th triangular number. I hope you saw a second ago. Cincinnati also has that gematria of 66. This is going to be Big Ben's 225th game. He is 150, 73-1. On the road, he is 68, 43-1. In light of the date numerology, he could pick up his 44th loss on a date with 44 numerology. It's his 204th regular season game. He's 137, 65-1. On the road, 62, 39-1. That means he could pick up his 66th loss. Cincinnati has the gematria 66. He could stay on 62 wins on a 62 date numerology. This is Dalton's 118th game. He is 66, 49-2. Now, this is where it gets dicey. This is what I hate sometimes. He could pick up his 50th loss. Steelers has that gematria of 50. Pittsburgh has that gematria of 50. He could pick up his 50th loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers. At home, he is 36, 20-2. It is his 114th regular season game. He is 66, 45-2. At home, he is 36, 19-2. The game is 15 days before Dalton's birthday. Remember, 47 is the 15th prime. Ohio 47. It's a span of 16 days. And here we are in week 6. 6 has that gematria 16 in our most pure cipher. The game is 226 days after Big Ben's birthday. That's a span of 227 days, the 49th prime. I want to come back up here and look at his wins real quick. So for the coaches, it is Mike Tomlin's 182nd game. He's 118, 62-1. 62 date numerology. It is Marvin Lewis's 246th game. He's 129, 113-3. The game is 213 days after Tomlin's birthday, or a span of 214 days. The game is 21 days, or a span of 22. I wrote Harbaugh. You know why I did that? It's because Marvin Lewis and Harbaugh have the same birthday. They're both born on September 23rd. So it was just like I meant to write Marvin Lewis here. But they both do have the same September 23rd birthday. to me, I like the 5-1 in the 96th game because that lines up well with Cincinnati. And I am wondering if the Steelers could start 2-4-1 as a tribute to the season of Super Bowl 53. It would make them 1-1-1 on the road. They have not got a road loss yet. They would get their first road loss in Ohio. Don't forget, one has that gematria 47 like Ohio. But again, this is a game that does have some narrative here in the win and loss record for the coaches and QBs that could suggest that it could go the other way. So this isn't a game I would put in a parlay either. Let's go to the chat and see where you guys are at. Lawrence just wants us to make picks. The purpose of this live is to have the discussion about the games and learn from each other. I'll do a quick audio recording after this is done, just saying what teams I like and why. So a real bang, bang, bang recording. But this will take some time here, and we're just going to have a nice discussion together and work it out. Somebody points out that Ben has the gematria 15, and that is true. Also has the gematria 21. We talked about that number. Oh, okay, I got it, Lauren. Okay, I was confused. I read the last comment. All right, I don't see anybody firing back a lot of input, but let's go to the next game. Let's keep it moving. Then we can always revisit things at the end if there's things we want to come back to. So Chargers and Browns, next game up. The Chargers are 3-2. So right away, I'm just thinking, okay, they could potentially fall to 3-3 in Cleveland. Cleveland's got that 33 gematria, right? So that's a possibility. I'm also seeing something else that I don't think I noticed for. No, I was wrong about that. Never mind. Browns do have that 35 gematria, though, like the 35 date numerology. But right away, that just jumps out, the fact that the Chargers could potentially fall to 3-3. The Browns are 2-2 and 1. They got one of the ties. The Chargers are a 1-point favorite in Ohio. We know about 1-47 in Ohio and 47. The over-under is at 45. And don't forget, when you write out 13 as a word, it has that gematria 45. LA, the land of 13. This game is on the day leaving 78 days left in the year. And Cleveland has that gematria 78. And our two most pure ciphers, Cleveland is 78 and 33. So that's interesting. This is going to be the 27th regular season game. The Chargers lead 16-9 to 1. And that means they could potentially pick up their 17th win in Ohio, the 17th state. There's a 17 date numerology here. Come back up to the date numerology. Oftentimes the date numerology gives us big clues. Could potentially get that 17th. The Browns, at the same time, could pick up their 10th win, and 10 has the gematria 42 like Mayfield. We just saw the 42-42 Mayfield Gruden special the other week. The Cleveland Browns, they have named gematria of 83 like football. That's the 23rd prime. If the Browns lost, they'd be 2-3 with a loss. The other thing to keep in mind is the teams that have the tie, they've been moving together each week in the standings. They've been winning and losing together. So we want to continue to keep an eye on that. One of these teams is the Vikings, and they're at home against the Cardinals. And if they got beat by the Cardinals, it would be deja vu of the Bills game. But I'm interested to see if these teams keep moving together or if potentially them being at 2-1 is the end of the movement together. I'll remind you, the Bavarian Illuminati equals 221. They were established on May 1st, 1776, a date with 99 numerology, 5 plus 1 plus 17 plus 76. Here we are in the 99th NFL season. They were established with 13 families. When you write out 13, it's 99. When you write out NFL, it's 13. The Bavarian Illuminati is Masonic, like the NFL. So there is relationships, and I am believing at this point that this is why all of these teams' records are 2-2-1. The riddle is, why is it Ohio and Pennsylvania and Minnesota? Why is it those three cities? Minnesota just hosted a Super Bowl. Ohio's the birthplace of American football, and the Steelers are the winningest team in Super Bowl history. But is there some deeper riddle? Maybe somebody out there knows. I'm not looking at the chat, so if you guys have a stab at it, share it with each other. Later, I'll try to check it out. But let's keep moving on this thing. So with LA and Cleveland, what I couldn't help but think about was LeBron James. LeBron James went from Cleveland to LA, and LeBron James's name equals 114. He went to LA exactly 114 days before the start of the World Series. And this game's on October 14th, 1014, a lot like 114. This is going to be Rivers' 207th game. He is 113-93. With a win, he would pick up his 114th win on 10/14. On the road, he is 48-55. Cleveland has that gematria 48. It is his 198th regular season game. He's 109-88 in the regular season. On the road, he is 46-52. He could pick up his 47th win in Ohio. He could pick up his 53rd loss as well. 53 is the 16th prime. And coming back up here one more quick time. Our date does not connect to 16, so I don't know what the riddle would be with 53 for him to pick up his 53rd loss in Ohio. I see more of a rhyme and reason with him to pick up his 47th win just looking at his win record. Chargers also has the gematria 47, I should mention that. It's 15 weeks after LeBron's move. 47 is the 15th prime. For Mayfield, this is going to be his third game. He's 1-1. If he lost, he would be 1-2, kind of like 12. Los Angeles has the gematria of 37, the 12th prime. This game is 55 days before Phillip Rivers' birthday. Los Angeles has the gematria of 55, so does Hugh Jackson. He's currently sitting on 55 losses. The game is 183 days, or a span of 184 after Mayfield's birthday. So in terms of the numbers there's a part of me that thinks there's something to 183. It's one of these numbers that I see a lot, but I don't know what it means. So I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Throughout the history of doing this work, there's been numbers that I looked at for a long time before I figured out what they meant. So anyway, the numbers that I do recognize, that there is some meaning with Phillip Rivers here, coming 55 days in light of how that connects to Los Angeles. And the coach he's facing, Hugh Jackson, who used to coach the Raiders, a team that have had history in LA as well. For the coaches, this is Anthony Lynn's 22nd game. He coaches the Chargers. He is 12-9. Now, I like the fact that he could pick up his 13th win in week 6 because 13 is the 6th prime number. Big relationship with 13 and 6. Again, he's 12-9. He's 12-10 all time. Chargers has that gematria of 79, which is the 22nd prime. I point out basketball is 22 because of the potential LeBron James riddle here. But I do like the way the numbers line up for the coach. For Hugh Jackson, this is his 38th game. He's 33-1 with the Browns. He is 11-41-1 all time. He could get his 12th win all time. And again, Los Angeles is 37, the 12th prime. In terms of the distance in birthdays with the coaches, there was nothing that was super definitive. I put some notes up here on the screen, but I don't think these are real crucial to a decode. Sometimes I just type out my thoughts to see if it gives me any meaning later. But I'd have to say that to me, the numbers favor the Chargers here. The thing that scares me the most is the fact that it's the day leaving 78 days left in the year, which connects to Cleveland, and the fact that the Chargers could fall to 3-3 in Cleveland. Notice the Browns with a loss would be 2-1-1 at home, like 2-11, the 47th prime. Again, Chargers is 47, Ohio 47. And I am wondering if the Steelers and Browns might move to a 2-4-1 record, because again, that's like 241, the 53rd prime. So before we move on, and I'm excited to talk about the next game. The next game is just such a masterful work of scripting. But see what you guys got here. Justin grew up on 183 East. LeBron James 183 reverse ordinal. Okay, that's a relevant point right there. We're saying how this could be the LeBron James special. Let me come back up. Who had the 183 connection again? Where is it? So it's 183 days after Mayfield's birthday. Yeah. Okay. This game is about LeBron James. Okay, well, think about this then. LeBron wears the number 23, right? And the Browns could fall to 2-3. Cleveland Browns 83, the 23rd prime. So great work there, Ben. Glad you connected that little piece about LeBron James. All right, let me see what you guys are thinking out here. I'm coming out here. Hold on. Zach, what are the other two date numerous? What do the other two date numbers mean? Well, what do you mean, Lawrence? Lawrence, give me a comment for what you're speaking to. I'm not following your question. July 1st leaves 183 days left in the year. Okay, that's a great point too. Yeah, this really is the okay. And the other thing about July 1st is it can be written 1/7 like 17. We talked about how the Chargers can pick up their 17th win. So I'm liking this more the more we think about it. The Chargers to win this game. There is a 15-33 date. Just asking. Well, that wasn't the date numerology, the 15-33. Not here. That's not the date numerology for these games. This is the date numerology for these games. 62, 35, 44, 17, 42, 24. And just for the record, King James is also 35, and so is Browns. So I think there's a big old LeBron James ritual brewing in this game, the LA-Cleveland battle. Did I note in this? I don't think I put up here how many days it was from LeBron going to. Let's just look at that one real quick, just see if it gives us anything. So he went on July 1st, and this game's on October 14th. So it's, oh yeah, I did talk about that. It was 105 days, which is 15 weeks. I did talk about that, or a span of 106 days. Maybe that's what you heard me say, Lawrence, about how it was 15 weeks from the day LeBron went. That could have been what you heard. I wouldn't. I'm just thinking out loud. I wouldn't say that this game. I would say this is another tight riddle in a way. I do favor the Chargers, but The only way that the numbers could go in favor of the Browns, in light of it being about LeBron, is if the Chargers fell to 3-3, because LeBron's 33, so is James. But Cleveland falling to 2-3 makes more sense. And if the Chargers win, they'll be 4-2, like 42, and LeBron James is also 42. And yeah, there's that 183. So I think that's the winner also. And then San Diego picking up the 17th win. So let me come back to the chat and see if we're ready to move on here. How many ways can you add the dates to get your numbers? The only date numerology that I use is this and these ones. And I'll tell you what else. I didn't used to use this right here. I was a skeptic about this, but other people were doing this method, and I observed it enough times where I said, okay, it seems that these people are right. It does seem that these numbers are connecting to the date a lot. It took me like a year from other people's input before I started including this. I always do the date numerology by hand. I don't like using Derek's thing because I think Derek just added in too many ways to break down dates and numbers, and to me it just becomes overwhelming. But I know that this is definitely a way. I know that this is definitely a very important way. This absolutely, and this absolutely. This is the most recent method that I incorporated. And again, it took me a year before I started using it. And even still, sometimes I'll just leave it out. But just notice the paths. All you can do this is basic arithmetic. You just follow these exact patterns. So again and again, you pay attention to sports and the numbers that are in the date numerology, you see how often the riddles connect perfectly. So let me see. Yeah, what you did there, Lawrence, I think that's like a method on Derek's calculator. I don't dabble with that because I've never learned anywhere that you're supposed to decode a date numerology that way. I mean, I could be wrong, but Ben says this game may have clues for the NBA season. Well, doesn't the NBA season begin October 16th? I'm sure it will. It's just 2 days before the season starts. XCLA also points out that it would be the Chargers' 23rd win since moving to LA. And doesn't that make a lot of sense in light of LeBron number 23, just like how Cleveland can become 2-3-1. So yeah, I think the riddles stack nicely. It's the Browns. Move on. Very funny. Well, hey, the Browns are like a different team now that they got the great white hope Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I expect it will be Chargers. Okay, so next game. I love the way that they scripted this game. There is just so much detailed scripting here. If you don't know, Seattle's the 206 area code. I know that because I live here and I have a 206 area code phone number. And notice Wembley Stadium has this gematria 206. In case you don't know this one, you should know this. Masonic temple equals 206. There's 206 bones in the adult human body. They say the body's the temple. But that Wembley Stadium's 206, Seattle's the 206 area code, and the last times these teams played was November 2nd, 2014, exactly 206 weeks earlier. So we see why this is the matchup. Now, what's really interesting about this game is if Seattle wins, they'll become the winningest team all time. Or excuse me, if Seattle wins, Pete Carroll will become the winningest coach all time in Seahawks history, surpassing Mike Holmgren. So I decided to look from Mike Holmgren's birthday to the date of this game. And it's Mike Holmgren's 122nd day of his age. That's really interesting because that's a big number in Seattle sports history. Seattle's on the 122nd meridian. But then again, this game is not anywhere near Seattle. It's in Wembley Stadium. And just out of curiosity, I should look up the coordinates of Wembley Stadium, see where it's at in the world. It could be another clue. The 51st parallel. Okay, I don't think that's going to help me out. But, well, Seahawks does have gematria 51 when you use the exceptions and reduction. If you use all the exceptions and reductions, Seahawks is 51 right here. So anyway, let's go through this. The narrative for the Seahawks to win is that they could become 3-3. They're the only team to have played in the Super Bowl on the 33rd day of the year. Seahawks has gematria of 33 when you just use the master numerology exception to K. Seahawks in reduction where K's 11 is 33. They played that in New York. Remember, New York hosted that, the cold weather Super Bowl. New York also 33, the only Super Bowl ever on the 33rd day of the year. It was Super Bowl 48. The over-under on this game is 48. Seahawks has that gematria of 48. They won Super Bowl 48 with this score, 43 points. They did win, they won 43-8, so combined 51 points. The Seahawks beat the Broncos, who they used to be in the same division with, along with the Raiders. So this is an old rivalry here. The Seahawks and Raiders used to be the AFC West. And in fact, I should just for kicks, let's look at AFC West to see if it gives us anything. 112. This game's 112 days from the Super Bowl. And the last time they played was November 2nd, 11/2. So these are interesting things. The game is in London, which has the gematria of 74, just like Raiders. Remember, what's the Raiders quarterback who played 74 games, who won the MVP in 74? Can't think of his name right now. But this number's been big in Raiders history. The Seahawks franchise, I'm going to leave that part out. I wanted to look at who's playing in London this year. We got the Seahawks and Raiders, and really it's not like it's a real home game, right? When you're on the when you're playing in London, the scheduling is, but it's like a lost home games more like it. Then we got the Titans at Chargers, so we got some AFC West teams going here. Eagles at Jacksonville. Kansas City at the Rams. That's a game I'm really interested in. The battle of the old Missouri teams. So anyway, with the Raiders win, both teams would be 2-4, and Seahawks is 24. The last time these teams played, wait a minute, you guys. I got to pull this up. I think I got dyslexic and wrote the wrong thing up there. I want to make sure, because I'm seeing what I wrote on the screen, and that's not the way I remember it when I was decoding. I think I wrote the thing backwards. Here, hold on. I got to verify that the Seahawks did win the last time. I was thinking that's not who won. So I always use Pro Football Reference. Very good at staying up to date here with the games. This is going to be the 53rd meeting between these teams. The Seahawks did win the last one. They won it 30-24. Okay, that is right. 24, always just so big around Seahawks games again and again, symbolic games. Seahawks has that gematria 24. Did the Seahawks lose with 24 points to the Patriots in the Super Bowl? They might have. I got to look just real quick. Patriots, Seahawks Super Bowl score. Where's the score at? Yeah, they did. They went down with 24. I mean, it's just comical. It's just comical how often they just use the same scores in the rituals. So anyway, the last time the Seahawks did play, they did win 30-24. Raiders went down with 24. They're now being 206 weeks later, which is a big number with Seattle, 206 area code. It could be a really special game for Pete Carroll. He'd become the all-time winningest coach in Seattle history, surpassing Mike Holmgren. I'll tell you what, if the Seahawks lose this game, I have a feeling they're in store for a nasty losing streak until they host the Packers at home, because that's Mike Holmgren's old team, and it'd be something if the Seahawks and Pete Carroll surpassed Mike Holmgren playing the Packers. But let's just keep moving through this game right here. With a Raiders win, again, both teams would be 2-4, Seahawks 24. With the Seahawks win, the Seahawks would be 3-3. England equals 33, where the game is. Seahawks 33. The Seahawks have never played in London. The Raiders are 1-2 in London. So they could potentially become 1-3, like 13. And we know how when we write out 13, it sums to 99, like how this is the 99th, 99th. 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 The last time that the Raiders played in London was November 19th, 2017. That was a date with 47 numerology, and it was exactly 47 weeks ago. The Raiders last played 47 weeks ago on a date with 47 numerology. They now face Seattle from the 47th parallel. Raiders also sums to 47 in the base ciphers when you make S count as 10 in reduction. And let's come down here again. So the Raiders have lost to the Miami Dolphins. Now, you know what? The more I think about that, the more that might be a gigantic clue, because the Miami Dolphins, their original football team was the Miami Seahawks. The Miami Seahawks were the original NFL team. So does history repeat itself with the Seattle Seahawks in light of 206 being the big number on this game? The Raiders have beat the Houston Texans there 27-20, 47 points. Notice that the first time they played, it was 38-14, 52 points. Raiders has the gematria of 52. So you can just see how all of these games, the scoring is very much in connection to the Raiders team each time. So then they win 27-20 over the Houston Texans. And the last time they played, they got beat good by the Patriots 33-8. New England's from Massachusetts. Massachusetts 33. 33 plus 8, 41 points. Year the Patriots went to the Super Bowl. 41 the 13th prime. Difference of 25 there. So this is going to be their fourth game. They could potentially become 1-3, or they could improve to 2-2. Let's see. 53rd regular season game. Raiders lead 28-24 all time. Seahawks, again, 24. London has the gematria of 29. The Raiders could potentially pick up their 29th win in London. In light of it being the 53rd game, Pete Carroll equals 53. Again, we know what's special about that number. This could be a very special game for Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll used to coach the Patriots, too, before Belichick. The Raiders last lost to the Patriots in London. In the playoffs, these teams are 1-1 against each other. Thus, all-time, the Raiders lead 29-25, and this is the 55th meeting. That means that Seattle could pick up their 26th win all-time, a number that has a relationship with 206. I believe Seattle's also 26 in the septenary cipher. This will be the 28th time that these teams played each other was exactly 28 years ago, which is really interesting. And that was the only time they ever played on October 14th, the same day that they're playing this year. 28 years ago, they played their 28th game against each other all time, the only time on October 14th. The Raiders won that game 24-17, 41 combined points, the 13th prime. So if the Raiders lost in this one, they would stay on 28 wins against the Seahawks, and they would become 1-3 in London. For the QB comparison, this is Wilson's 114th game on 10/14. He's 75-37-1. That means he could pick up his 38th loss against the Raiders, Raiders 38. On the road, he's 31-25-1. Pick up that 26th loss as well. This is Wilson's 102nd regular season game. He's 67-33-1. On the road, he is 28-22-1. That means he could pick up his 29th regular season win in London. Wilson has the gematria of 29 like London. This is Carr's 68th game. He's 29-38. At home, he is 17-16. He could fall to 17-17 at home in London, where it's the modern birthplace of Freemasonry, 1717. And there is a long Masonic history of pirates. Something to think about in light of Freemasonry and London in 1717. So the symbolism's there. A win keeps him at 38 losses. A loss keeps him at 29 wins. So it's tough right there. Gruden is looking for his Gruden equals 30. He's looking for his 30th win is Derek Carr. This game is 46 days or a span of 47 before Wilson's birthday. Russell has that gematria of 47. So does Carroll against Seattle on the 47th parallel. Game is 200 days or a span of 201 days from Carr's birthday. This is going to be Pete Carroll's 134th game. Now remember, Vesica Pisces has the gematria of 134 and 53 in our most pure ciphers. It's the 53rd meeting of these teams. Pete Carroll is 81, 51, and 1. If he got a loss, he'd get his 52nd. Raiders 52. If he got a win, he'd get number 82. Seattle equals 82. And his next win is going to set the Seattle winning record. So maybe what we should do here is look at the Seahawks schedule and see who their next game is against. And are they playing in Seattle? Because in a way, it kind of makes more sense for them to set this Seattle record in Seattle so they can have a big celebration. Their next home game is against the Chargers on November 4th, which is a date with 53 numerology. Pete Carroll, 53. Los Angeles, 53. Possible that that's the day if they don't get it done against the Raiders. But then they got a tough one against the Rams and then the Packers. So I don't know. It's tough. Got to keep looking at more clues. But the fact that his next win will be his 82nd and the all-time winningest for Seattle, not an accident. Big ritual. And again, it could happen on Holmgren's 122nd day if he does it here in London. Don't forget, Vesica Pisces has the gematria of 82 as well, in light of this being his 134th game. I mean, this could be the one right here, special London game. But I'd have to think about why they did it in London. There's got to be something there. Maybe somebody's got the answer in the chat right now, but let me finish up this, and then I'll come back to the chat. Mike Holmgren's 70 years old right now. Holmgren has that gematria of 47, fitting that he coached up there on the 47th parallel, like Carroll equals 47. The Seahawks play the Packers on November 15th. That'll be 153 days after Holmgren's birthday. That's the 17th triangular number. 17 is the 7th prime, that G, the 7th letter on the Packers helmet. All-time, this is Pete Carroll's 198th game. He also coached the Patriots. He's 114, 82, and 1 all-time. Very interesting. Very interesting. He could pick up his 115th win. Raiders are 115 in the base ciphers. Could stay on those 82 losses and pick up his 82nd win with Seattle in the special Seattle ritual. This is going to be John Gruden's 70th game. He's 39 and 30. That means he's done 69 with the Raiders, and John Gruden's 69. John alone's 39. Gruden also has 30, so, very numerological win-loss record he has right now with the Raiders. It's his 182nd game all-time. He coached the Bucs too, another Pirate team. 96 and 85 all-time. The game is 29 days after Carroll's birthday, football 29, London 29. The game is 58 days after Gruden's birthday, or a span of 59. Oakland's got that 58 gematria. So very close call here. Maybe somebody has the tiebreaker in the chat room. Apparently Martin Brown has a good narrative for the Raiders. I'll tell you what, you guys, it's always a lot easier to see how the games are scripted than to call who's going to win, because sometimes the narratives are just so tight. There really is a major Vesica Pisces alignment for Pete Carroll. I mean, if there's one and there's also the whole 206 thing where that's Seattle's number. So those are two really favorable narratives for the Seahawks, but as we went through it, we did see a lot of things that could go in the Raiders' favor. Go77 is a troll of this channel, so I'm amazed that Go77 has coughed up the $5 a month. I guess when you're paid to troll my work 24/7, 365, $5 a month for your added-on budget of trolling is probably not too much more. But just gonna let you guys know who Go77 is. Big troll. Let's see. London, England, 131. That's a great point. Super Bowl number, 112 days before the Super Bowl. That's 32nd prime. Did that jive with either team record, 3-2? And it doesn't help out there with the team record. Jonathan's leaning Seahawks. Jonathan's had a hot hand this year. Chris likes the Birds, the Seahawks. Oh, is it the Seahawks' 666th franchise regular season game? So this morning, the radio, if you guys didn't listen to the radio show I did this morning, it was a man who's been in radio for about 20 years, and he's actually aware of this language of letters and numbers. And he pointed out something about October, and I'm trying to remember October equals 666. Here we are in October. God, how did he? Okay, this is what he pointed out. He said that October used to be the 8th month, as we all know. October. And he says 36 is the 8th triangular number. So if you add 1 through 8, it's 36. And 666 is the 36th triangular number. So in light of the relationship with 8, 36, and 666, Seattle equals 19 in our most pure cipher, which is the 8th prime number. Pete Carroll's 67 right now, which is the 19th prime number. So, yeah, I guess in a way, I mean, that's kind of circular thinking, but if anything, that number, I would say, is favorable to the Seahawks in this matchup. Martin Brown says, only narrative I see for Oak is the 102 connection. Wait a minute. What was the 102 connection? That wasn't something I covered. Or, the Wilson's 102nd regular season game. Martin, how is that in favor of, how was the, Zach, it's a 102nd game for Gruden. And a span of 201 day after Carr's birthday? Go77 says he's not a troll. Okay, if you're not a troll, then there's somebody who has an account just like yours that trolls me all the time, so I apologize. I thought you were that same person. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, I apologize, but there's somebody who has an account just like you that trolls me. Sports Gematria likes the Raiders because of the 38 thing. Yeah, I mean, there is a narrative there for the Raiders. But here's what I would say to think about. Okay, we just saw how the Giants lost on Thursday Night Football, and when we looked at those win-loss records, the date numerology, just everything, not everything, but almost everything was very favorable for the Giants. And the reason they lost in the end is because Eli picked up his 52nd loss at home in Week 6 to the Eagles, who had just won Super Bowl 52. So it's like out of all the numbers that were there, even though a ton of them lined up for the Giants, I guess the number in the end that was the most important was the 52 thing. And the thing about this Seattle game is, again, they last beat the Raiders 206 weeks earlier. Wembley Stadium is 206. And Seattle's got the 206 area code. The other thing is just how nice the numbers are for Pete Carroll in light of what he can achieve in this game. And if this game was in Seattle, I would say Seattle's winning all the way. But the fact that it's in London, that's the piece that makes me go, well, why would they have Pete Carroll achieve this great thing for the Seahawks in London? And maybe it's all about masonry and masonry being headquartered over there. Because, again, the Raiders can fall to 17-17. So, okay, so Ben throws out that what cipher is that in? Oh, phone gematria. Okay. I haven't decoded any games with phone gematria, but that is interesting. Russell Wilson has the birth numerology of 39, and I'll never forget the game where on his birthday he beat the Steelers with 39 points. That is interesting, though. Yeah, I see also the point about the 24-date numerology and both teams becoming 2-4. That's very strong as well. It's a tight one. It's a tight narrative again. It'd be the Seahawks' 337th win, the 68th prime. Well, that is interesting in light of sacred geometry, 68. So is mathematics. Don't forget mathematics is 112, and it's 112 days before the Super Bowl, and they last played on November 2nd. Yeah, this game is a head scratcher. It's got some major alignment for the Seahawks, but it's got a strong Raiders narrative too. Gruden can get his 102nd win, huh? Okay. So Chris has another reason for why the Giants lost. Jonathan says when too much lines up with one team, go with the other team. We do see how that works out sometimes. Wembley Stadium has the 51 connection. That's interesting. All right, we'll move on to the next game. We got plenty more games to cover. We're taking our sweet time here. So next up, we got Bears and Dolphins, and the Bears are 3-1. They're 1-1 away. The Dolphins are 3-2, 2-0 at home. The line says the Bears are a 3.5-point favorite, and the over/under is at 41.5. So this is going to be the 13th regular season game. And let's just pull it up here because I think that I left something out of my decode that I meant to put in here. I forget if I looked at it and forgot to write it down, but I don't see it on the screen. Or wait, maybe I did put it here. Oh, never mind. It's up here. Okay, so 13th regular season game. Dolphins lead 8-4. Now, with a Dolphins loss, they would fall to 8-5. National Football League equals 85. Big number for the Bears. That's the year that they won their last Super Bowl, 85. The NFL was established in Chicago. At the same time, the Dolphins could pick up their 9th win, improving to 9-4. Remember, 45 is the 9th triangular number. Bears equals 45, Miami 45. When you write out 13 as a word, it equals 45. This is the 13th meeting. With regards to 13, we have to consider that the Bears can become 4-1, like 41, the 13th prime number. Don't forget that Chicago Bears equals 91, the 13th triangular number. And don't forget who they got on September 1st, the guy that's the talk of the league on defense, Khalil Mack. Also, keep in mind that this is the Dolphins' 53rd season. Them and the Falcons are in their 53rd season. The last time these teams played in Miami, the Bears won 16-0. 53 is the 16th prime number. November 18th, 2010 was the date of that game. Date with 59 numerology, the 17th prime. The Dolphins to date are 4-3 at home against the Bears. That means they could become 5-3 in their 53rd season At the same time, they could fall to 4-4 on a date with 44 numerology. QBs, this is Trubisky's 17th game. The word bear, the singular, in reduction gematria is 17. He is 7-9. On the road, he is 3-5. Bears, 45. He could become 4-5 on the road in Miami. Miami has that gematria of 45, as does Illinois. He could also fall to 3-6 in Miami. Miami 36, Bears 36. And don't forget 666, the 36 triangular number. Here we are in October, 666 month. This is Tannehill's 83rd game, football 83. He is 40-42. He could pick up his 41st win, the 13th prime. At home, he is 24-17. He could pick up his 18th loss. Bears equals 18. He could also pick up his 41st win. Again, the 13th prime, 13's the 6th prime, week 6. The game is 55 days after Trubisky's birthday. Chicago Bears 55. The game is 79 days or a span of 80 after Tannehill's birthday. Chicago Bears has the gematria of 80. Interesting how both QBs have numbers aligning with Chicago Bears. For the coaches, Matt Nagy, his rookie season as a coach, he's 3-1. He's either going to be 3-2 or 4-1. Adam Gase, the Dolphins coach, it's his 38th game. He's 19-18. With regards to it being his 38th game, Florida 38, Dolphins 38. The game is 173 days after Nagy's birthday or his 174th day of his age. Number of the Beast has that gematria of 174. October has that connection to 666. And 666 factors into 6 + 6 + 6, 18, Big Bear's number. So, interesting. The game is 199 days after Adam Gase's birthday, or a span of 200. 199 is the 46th prime, Chicago 46. I am favoring the Bears. Again, there's a narrative here for both, but I am liking the Bears in the greater 13 rituals, what I would call it. The fact that they could become 4-1, 41 the 13th prime, 13 the 6th prime. Think about how the college championship concluded last year. Number 13 throwing the winning touchdown to number 6, getting Nick Saban his 6th championship at age 66. It was a 41-yard touchdown pass. The way I read the narrative of the Bears is they look like a team that's getting better each week. They got a young quarterback who's not bad. Well, what number does Trubisky wear? I should always look at the jersey number, and I forget to do that. I want to see what jersey he wears. He wears 10. I've seen 10 getting a lot of. Again, I think the thing with 10 this year is I'm seeing all this stuff with 10. I think it's about this, that the season began on a date with 26 numerology. It began on the 26th of Elul. I've also seen a lot of things with 55 this year. I think it's this God thing going on. And this is Trubisky's 17th game. The Vesica Piscis, the shape of the football, is considered God in sacred geometry. And again, Vesica Piscis 53, like how we have the Super Bowl concluding with number 53. So I favor the Bears in this game. Looking at the numbers, it's another tight one. This is the week of seems like extra tight games. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Yeah, Jonathan, who comes on my radio show, is Infinite. That's who Infinite is. That's Jonathan from the radio program. Okay, somebody asked me if I analyzed the gematria of the owners. That's really something I need. I spent so much time on these decodes already, but I really should just start measuring from the owners. Let's just do it for kicks right now, just to see if we get anything. I think we should look from the birthdays. Miami Dolphins owner. Let's see. Stephen M. Ross. Okay, Stephen M. Ross birthday. That's the next thing I want here. And quite Jewish as Stephen M. Ross. Let's see. May 10th. All righty. So it's going to be his 158th day. You know what else that is? That's 157 days after his birthday. This is a number I talk about a lot in my Chicago decodes because it's the 37th prime, and Chicago's also 37. And this is a nice thing for me is that I've just like decoded so many of these different riddles that a lot of things jump out right away. So that's interesting right there. Maybe we need to start looking at the owners. Okay, so to me, that number would favor Chicago as well. Who's the Bears owner? Chicago Bears owner. Maybe all this time, all we've ever needed to decode is that really who owns the Bears? I guess her husband died. You got to love that the husband died in '83, right? The former owner. And she's been running the team for 35 years now. Okay. Yeah. I didn't want to get into her name gematria. We're going to stop right there. What's her birthday? January 5th. God, she's old, 95. Just trying to think if there's some relevance to that. January 5th, let's see here. Nine months, 9 days. You know what's interesting about that is Miami in the English extended cipher is 99. Did the Bears got it on 9 months, 9 days in the 99th NFL season, where, again, you know, Illinois is also 99 with the alphabetic order. So maybe this is the clincher here, looking at the owners. I'll tell you what, you guys, in every future week decode, I'm gonna start measuring from the owner's birthday. Perhaps we've been missing a big slice of the pie here. I've said this many times before, and then I just forget to do it. So. Yeah, Martin, I try to, before the games are played, I try to look at the articles and see if there's any big narratives for a star missing. Because, yeah, you're off. I mean, you're absolutely right. If somebody's out of the game, that's always a big clue. So I try to catch those things just browsing the games and reading about them. Do I watch the games? Honestly, I don't watch many games. I'll watch them here and there. But if you saw me, you would see just how like irritated I get watching the games. So it's just like not good for my health. I feel like I'm taking 20 years off my life every time I watch professional sports. So I try not to watch that much. That woman looks like Cruella de Vil. Yeah, exactly, doesn't she? She looks like the lady from 101 Dalmatians. I actually had the same thought. That's funny. It is Chicago's 99th season. Chicago and the Cardinals, they're both in their 99th NFL season. They're the original NFL teams. So, yeah. I think I like the Bears more and more. All right, I like the Bears in this one. The majority of things point in the Bears' direction. I got to think they're going to take it. I think their defense is going to get to Tannehill. That'll be the narrative. So here's the thing about this game right here. Are all of these teams going to move in the same direction with the tie? If they do, then there's an upset special narrative for the Cardinals to beat the Vikings and for Kirk Cousins to be humiliated at home again. It's no guarantee that all of these teams are going to continue to move together. The ritual could have been all about 2-2-1, and it might be done. The thing about this game for the Cardinals is the Cardinals play on the 112th Meridian, Glendale. That's why they've hosted multiple Super Bowls in that stadium. Super Bowl 112, and this game is 112 days to the Super Bowl. Minnesota is a 10-point favorite. 10 has gematria 42 like Arizona. And the only thing that I could extract from this game in terms of meaningful numbers Well, okay. The most meaningful thing I saw here was that Mike Zimmer could pick up his 42nd win against Arizona, and that's what I expect to happen. I expect Minnesota to win this game. You know, the thing with Buffalo, I don't know why I didn't have the cojones to call Buffalo, because that whole game was 111, 111, 111, and the Vikings had the possibility of going 111. It just seems so ridiculous, but in light of the script and it being betting traps, I should have known better. But, I mean, I don't see that type of upset alignment in the numbers here. Hold on. 231 is the 26th or the 21st triangular number. Let me just make sure I'm not making that up. I'm just trying to think if there's anything with 231. It is the 21st triangular. We're in week 6. 6 doesn't have a connection to 21. Neither does week 6. We should remember that week 6 is 33, though. That could be a sign that there's going to be a lot of 3-3 teams in week 6. But the Cardinals could fall to 1-5. 47 is the 15th prime. Minnesota has the gematria 47. I looked here and I just didn't see much. Vikings could pick up their 15th win, making the Cardinals 1-5. Their record would become 3-2-1. They'd be 2-1 at home. I was just like, it's weird how little alignment there is for anything in this game. Nothing jumped out at me, really. So, I'm just looking at it again. If there's an upset special narrative here, it's got to be this. It's got to be that it's Josh Rosen's 161st day of his age. That's like phi 1.61, the golden ratio. Phi has the connection to 33, like week 6, and 24, like the date numerology. But it's hard to put too much stock in basing a game like that. The strongest number I see here is Mike Zimmer can pick up his 42nd win against Arizona. So the game's 131 days after Zimmer's birthday. Super Bowl number. It's also 112 days to the Super Bowl. Another Super Bowl number. I gotta say the Vikings are going to win that one. The next question becomes, do they cover the 10 points? What about the over-under at 43? I wouldn't be surprised if the score is right at 42. I wouldn't be surprised if they cover either. I mean, the Cardinals aren't a very good team, scripted and all. Oh, Martin. I think I forgot to do the splits this week, man. I think I forgot to do the splits this week. After I do this live decode, I'm going to go back and do the splits real quick because they don't take that long. It would be too much to do it online. We'll be here all day. But I'll do the splits, and then I'll come back and do my real quick picks for the week. And when I do those, I'll make sure I have the splits included in there. So, yeah, apologies. I can't believe I forgot to do that. I guess we can also look at the owners. Should we look at the owners to see if they give us anything for Vikings owner, the Wolf, April 22nd to our game. Let's see. 25 weeks. Who's the Cardinals owner? No, I don't want the St. Louis. I want the Arizona Cardinals. Bill Bidwell, July 31st. $75 days. Is that the gematria of Arizona Cardinals? Or Cardinals or something? I feel like their team has Arizona Cardinals is 75. Okay. That is really interesting. That is really interesting. Huh. Well, The Cardinals could improve to 2-4 on a date with 24 numerology. Huh, that makes things more interesting. You know what? I can't call anything off owners because I'm not in the habit of decoding owners in the games and seeing how it all lines up. But that is really interesting that the Cardinals are 2-4, or the owners 75 days from the game, and Arizona Cardinals in the most pure cipher 75. What else is there? You know what else there is, you guys? Okay, so the Cardinals have this Catholic symbolism, right? And the Jesuits, they operate in 112 countries, kind of like how the Cardinals play on the 112th meridian, and this game's 112 days before the Super Bowl. You know what else? If the Vikings lost, they would be 2-3-1, which is like the 21st triangular number. And in light of the Bavarian Illuminati tribute we just got, is the Jesuit ritual out of the question? Again, just looking at everything else here, the games, the head-to-head, there's not any real strong narrative for anything. The only thing is that Mike Zimmer can pick up his 42nd win. That's also a Jesuit number. Well, I'm going to start paying attention to this owner thing. It could be a real big tell in weeks ahead. Let me come back to the chat and see what you guys are thinking. Maybe you guys know something I don't. So Go 77 points out that the Browns could win their 188th home win. That's a big Bavarian Illuminati number, and right now they have the Bavarian Illuminati. So that is very interesting, and it's all about 13 there with the Bavarian Illuminati. So it is an interesting observation. Yeah, I apologize about the splits, you guys. I don't know why I forgot that. This week I was reading information about games and just seeing if anything jumped out. D'Angelo says he hopes I see something. Last game between the two, Cardinals lost with 24 points. Okay, so you're saying maybe that's a clue that they improved to 2-4 this time? All right, let's look at it. Arizona, Minnesota head-to-head. Let's do it this way. Vikings, Cardinals. All right, let's see here. Last time they played November 20th, so we had an 11-2 thing going on that day. And the Cardinals won 30-24. 54 combined points, Jesuit order 54. So it was a nice little Jesuit ritual there. And that game was in Minnesota as well. I got to see how many days it is. The distance could be a big clue. 99 weeks. If you don't do the span, it's 99 weeks later. How about that? It's the Cardinals' 99th season. How about that? I'm starting to smell an upset here. I'm starting to think that the Cardinals could win this game. The owner thing, the 99 weeks later, the fact that they won last time in a Jesuit ritual, the Jesuit numbers are all over this game. And then That also means that all these teams we're looking at with the 2-2-1 record would move together again, becoming 2-3-1. Something to watch out for. Consider the Falcons are hosting the Super Bowl this year, where Arthur Blank has the same birthday as the Jesuit order. He's the only owner's birthday I know. But I do know that he's born on the Jesuit order's birthday, September 27th. So I don't know. I'm starting to smell an upset there. Great point, D'Angelo. Thank you for pointing that out. I will definitely include QB splits and owner birthdays. I already know better about the splits. I don't know how I neglected that from this week's thing. I've been staring at it longer this week than any week, and somehow I just totally. When I go through and do after we're done here, I'm going to get off and go through all the splits for every QB, and then I'm going to make my quick audio regarding with picks. And you know what? I'll even take the time to go through all the owners too. It's not that much extra work. Maybe that's a big piece of pie that we discovered this week. And this is why it's good to talk about things as a group. Let's see. Yeah, Sports Gematria, what he's pointing out with the 40-second win thing, that was the piece that I liked too. And the only thing is he would stay on 41 wins if he lost the 13th prime, and 13 connects to 99, like how they last played each other 99 weeks, and it was a Jesuit order ritual game very clearly. So it's another tight one. Here, we can look at Kirk Cousins' record against the Cardinals. This just takes a second. Josh Rosen's obviously not going to have any splits against the Vikings. His career just began. But did I click the wrong thing here? What just happened? Splits, career. There we go. All time against the Cardinals, he's 1-2. He could fall to 1-3. 1-3 would factor into that 13 narrative. So he's had his struggles against the Cardinals in his career. Josh Rosen, Kirk Cousins. Sports Gematria does have a very logical point. Again, that's where I started. The clearest thing, just looking at what I normally look at, was the fact that Zimmer could pick up his 42nd win against Arizona. Josh Rosen, 42, Arizona, 42. And is Stephen Wilkes 42 too? I think I've been neglecting that. Oh my God, they got it all set up there with the 42 in Arizona. Big Jesuit number. Again, the Cardinals always have the Jesuit tributes. Jesuit 42. Yeah, Eli's always been so weak. He's just another obvious reason the NFL's scripted garbage. Arizona Coyotes' next game is versus Minnesota too. Yep, that's a great observation. A lot of times the sports leagues work together. Also playing at Minnesota. Oh, the Packers definitely are not losing this week. The Packers is a huge Aaron Rodgers ritual. It's the easiest game to pick of the week by far. It's the Monday Night Football. When we get to it, we'll just fly right through it. It is a giant Aaron Rodgers ritual. I guarantee. I'm right with you, man. I guarantee the Packers are not losing this week. That is one game that I would bet my house on. Let's see. This Ghost 77 suggesting that Rodgers can lose. Ghost 77, you look a lot like the person that trolls my channel, man. And he writes in caps all the time, too. So I know you said you're not a troll, but you look just like that person. Let's see. Jonathan says D'Angelo's right about Tennessee and the points. Vegas would clean up on a Packers loss, but I don't see how it happens. That game is the Aaron Rodgers tribute. Aaron Rodgers is from the Bay Area. He wanted to be drafted by the Niners. I think that game's all about him. I had to put Go 77 on mute because he's just spamming away in caps, and like I don't care if he unsubscribes, and like he is obviously the same person that trolls my blog. So yeah. I mean, okay. Let's move on to the next game. Colts Jets. So here's a battle of old classic teams. Was this Super Bowl III? The Colts are 1-4. The Jets are 2-3. On the road, the Colts are 1-2. The Jets are 1-1 at home. The Jets are a 2.5-point favorite. The over/under's at 45. So this is the 70th regular season game. Colts lead 41-28. They could pick up their 42nd win on a date with 42 numerology in NYC, where NYC is 42. The Colts could improve to 2-4. Colts does have gematria 24. At the same time, they could fall to 1-5. Colts has the gematria 15. If they stayed on their 41st win against the Jets, they lead the series again 41-28. That's the 13th prime number. 13 is the 6th prime number, week 6. In the playoffs, the Jets are 3-1 against the Colts. Thus, the Colts lead 42-31 all time, and this will be the 74th game. The last time they played was Monday Night Football, December 5th, 2016. The Colts won that game with 41 points, picking up their 41st win. That was a date with 53 numerology, also a date with 33 numerology. This is going to be Luck's 82nd game, Vesica Pisces number. He's 47-34. On the road, he is 21-21. He could get his 48th potential win. New York Jets 48. Sam has the gematria 48. Remember, Sam won MNF 48 with 48 points in his debut game by the numbers. This is Luck's 76th regular season game. He's 44-31. On the road, he is 20-18. 39th road game, New York 39, Indianapolis on the 39th parallel. Sam Darnold is 2-3. Sam equals 33, New York 33. He could become 3-3 with a win. Sam also sums to 6 in the reduction cipher. What's Sam Darnold going to do in week 6? The game is 32 days after Luck's birthday, or a span of 33 days. We just saw that work out nicely. We saw something similar work out nicely for Carson Wentz. I see a parallel here with the Colts game and the Eagles game, because the Colts head coach is Frank Reich, who just came over from the Eagles. We just saw the Eagles win in New York to start the week. Could the Colts, with Frank Reich, who has the Eagles connection, do the same thing in New York? Remember, it was Carson Wentz's 33rd game, and they improved to 3-3. So this game is 32 days after Luck's birthday, his 33rd day of his age. Again, New York's 33, Sam's 33. The game is 131 days after Darnold's birthday, or his 132nd day of his age. 131 is the 32nd prime. Darnold 32, NFL 32. Frank Reich is 1-4. Doesn't help us because he could become 1-5 or 2-4. Both numbers connect to Colts. It's Todd Bowles' 54th game. Now, that's a big one to me because this is a big number for the history of the Jets and the Buffalo Bills. They both have the 54 connection. Jets is 54 forwards and backwards with the alphabetic order. So that is interesting. Todd Bowles' 54th game with the Jets. It's his 57th game all time. New York Jets has that connection to 57. He's 24-32. He could potentially pick up his 33rd loss. Could stay at 24 wins on a date with 24 numerology. The game is 51 days or a span of 52 before Reich's birthday. The game is 35 days or a span of 36 before Bull's birthday. New York in October have that 666 connection, the 36th triangular number. This one is it's razor thin as well. It's a really dicey call. So I think we should look at the splits here. I can't believe that I forgot to do the splits. Obviously, Darnold's not going to have the split because he's brand new, but we can see what Andrew Luck has done to date. Oops. We can see what Andrew Luck has done to date against the Jets. So the New York Jets, Andrew Luck is 1-2 against the Jets. That means the only time he beat them was last time, the 41-point win in their 41st game, or their 41st win over the Jets, 41 the 13th prime. So he could potentially fall to 1-3 or improve to 2-2. Remember, Luck in Jewish gematria. Luck in Jewish gematria is 233, which is the 13th Fibonacci number. And, I mean, think about the name Luck and 13. They go hand in hand. In light of 13's relationship with 99, and this being the 99th NFL season and NFL 13, I think I like the Jets in this game improving to 3-3 and making the Colts 1-5. They would also be 1-3 away, the Colts would. To me, that has a lot of rhyme and reason with this 99th NFL season. So I think that split, to me, makes me favor the Jets here. I like that it's Todd Bowles' 54th game, too. So let's go to the chat. I think they can have Andrew Luck looking this bad. Andrew Luck is just like such a weird, goofy guy. I mean, have you seen him when he goes out after he loses these games? He's got like the biggest smile on his face, and he's just like, it's just like, what is this? What did they do to Andrew Luck while he was gone? I feel like he's I don't know. So. All right, let's keep it moving because we can go over all these things again later at the end. The next game up's the Panthers and the Redskins, and we just saw the Redskins get genocided in the Christopher Columbus ritual. Now they pay the Black Panthers. So we got a little racial narrative here. You know how the NFL likes to use these teams. Cam Newton, the founder of the Black Panther Party, Huey P. Newton. Huey P. Newton equals 58. Cam Newton, the 58th quarterback to start in the Super Bowl. Forgot how to pick up the football facing the white Broncos. Anyway, don't forget that game was in the Bay Area where the Black Panther Party was established. Black Panthers established in 66, same year as the first Super Bowl. But Washington's at home. They're a 1-point favorite over the Panthers. The over-under's at 44.5 on a date with 44 numerology. Remember, 1 has gematria 47 like DC. Panthers also has the 47 connection. This is going to be the 14th regular season game. The Redskins lead 7-6. The thing that when I look at that number right away, I just think about how DC's on the 77th meridian. And it's just one game away from being 7-7. Panthers has that gematria 43, the 14th prime. DC 4-3, Masonic 43, football 43. 14th meeting here. This is Cam Newton's 120th game. He is 68-50-1. He could get his 51st loss in the Federal City. Federal's 51. On the road, he's 28-29-1. This is Cam Newton's 113th regular season game. Scottish 113s in the city that's the headquarters for the Scottish Rite. He's 65-46-1. Now, what jumps out big there is that he could get his 47th loss in DC, the land of 47. This is how we called Andrew Luck to get his 47th win in DC, his only win yet this season. Consider also the riddle with the Black Panthers and the Beast and the number of the Beast. Beast has that gematria 47. It's not arbitrary that the Washington Monument's 660 feet tall, 666 if you count the 111 feet below ground. On the road there, Cam Newton is 28-26-1. That's in the regular season. The 47th loss, that one really jumps. It's Alex Smith's. I also should point out up here that Redskins could pick up their 8th win in October. Oct-8. This is going to be Alex Smith's 163rd game. He's 92-69-1. At home, he is 52-28-1. Carolina has that gematria 53. He can pick up his 53rd win against Carolina. FedEx Field has that gematria 53. With the Hardship being his 163rd game, that's the 38th prime number, Panthers 38. He can get his 93rd win. Think about the number 93 in Black history. If you follow my work, we know about a million different connections to 93 in Black history. He could stay on his 69th loss. Black Panther has the gematria 69. Smith also has the gematria 69. Alex Smith's 156th regular season game. He's 90-64-1. At home, he is 51-25-1. In light of it being week 6, it just made me think about how when you write out 666 with the alphabetic order, it's 156, plus it's October, which has the 666 gematria, so does Black Panther. He can get his 91st win, the 13th triangular number, 13, the 6th prime, week 6. Native has the gematria of 91. I have a deeper thought on that. I'll skip it. The game is 156 days after Cam's birthday, too, which is really interesting how we get this double 156 alignment. It's also a span of 157 days. Is 157th day, which is the 37th prime. Carolina has the gematria at 37 as well. The game's 160 days, or a span of 161 after Smith's birthday. For the coaches, Ron Rivera is 67-48-1. He could pick up his 49th loss against Washington. Washington 49. So that really sticks out to me. Cam picking up his 47th loss. Rivera picking up his 49th loss. This is Gruden's 69th game. He's 30-37-1. With a win, he'd stay at 37 losses against Carolina. The game is 224 days after Gruden's birthday. Little numerological here, but the divisors at 84 sum to 224, and the divisors of 44 add to 84, and there's a date with 44 numerology here. Carolina Panthers has the gematria of 84. Out of all these things, it's the loss for Rivera and the loss for Cam Newton that jump out to me in the biggest way. So I favor the Redskins in this game. I like the Redskins there. I don't usually use the stadiums in the Decode unless I'm looking at the Super Bowl. I notice a lot of times in the Super Bowl, the stadium factors in. It is another layer. the thing is if what I'm trying to do is narrow down what is the most consistent and what seems to be the most meaningful week to week. And when you start looking at too many numbers, it makes it more confusing. And yeah, so I don't typically use the stadium or the city name in the decode. I see you guys are still talking about the New York and Colts game, and yeah, I'm leaning New York that way. Yeah, I like the Redskins in this game. It doesn't look like you guys are giving me a lot back on it, so maybe you're in agreement. Let's do the next one. Bills at Texans. We still got a lot of games to move through here. Bills at Texans. Houston's a 10.5-point favorite, nearly 11 points against the team from the 11th state. The over-under is at 41, the 13th prime, 13 the 6th prime. We're in week 6. One of these teams is going to become 3-3. Remember, New York is 33. If the Bills lost, they'd be 1-3 away. That's our 13 connection, like 13's the 6th prime. So I like that in the record. And I do like the Texans becoming 3-3 against New York. Week 6 has that 33 gematria. So this is the 13th regular season game between the two teams. Think about how probably the biggest star on these teams is, in terms of who gets media recognition, is probably J.J. Watt, number 99. 13 has the connection to 99. I could see him having a big game. They're tied. Wait a minute. Hold on. I must have been tired when I was doing this decode. Hold on. That doesn't make sense. All right. I don't know why I said it was the 13th regular season game. It's the 9th regular season game. 45 is the 9th triangular number. That's interesting because the Buffalo Bills have the gematria of 45. They're tied 4-4, these two teams. Texans can become 3-3 against New York. For the quarterbacks, Josh Allen's 5th game, he is 2-2. On the road, he is 1-1. Texans equals 83 like football, 83 the 23rd prime like 2-3. So he could potentially become 2-3 in his career record facing the Texans. The game's 146 days after Allen's birthday, or a span of 147 days. The game is 30 days, span of 31 after Watson's birthday. Houston 31, big number with their history. And I don't know how long they're going to punk Deshaun Watson like this. I mean, Deshaun Watson's even though the games are scripted, you can see who has the real talent. I mean, that guy's a mega talent. And they had him fake his injury. Now they got this narrative like he's rusty coming back off the injury. It's just, anyway. Coach comparison. Sean McDermott. It's his 22nd game. He's 11-10. Fitting opponent for his 22nd game. Texans has the gematria of 79, the 22nd prime. It's O'Brien's 70th game. He's 33-36. The game is 207 days after McDermott's birthday. It's 9 days after O'Brien's birthday, and it's the 9th meeting. Again, when you add 1 through 9, it's 45. I think Texans improved to 3-3 over the New York team, and Bills fall to 2-4 on the date with 24 numerology. I like them becoming 1-3 away, and I think that's what I meant to write up here instead of 13 regular season games. I think that was just a tired mistake. Consider 1-3 is also the reflection of 31 like Houston, and I really like that it's Deshaun Watson's 31st day of his age playing in Houston. So these are the reasons I like the Texans in this game. See what the chat's got. Is Josh Allen 33? It sure is, just like week 6. So that's a good quarterback to become 3-3 against too. But I guess if you wanted to play devil's advocate, you could say, well, why not the Bills become 3-3? They're from New York. They're in week 6. Jonathan points out that the Bills games have been tricky this year. They had the big upset special against Minnesota. So that's a 1-3 away record, though. That's to me, that has some rhyme and reason in light of this season. So. It is really interesting that the Texans are 11-point favorites. I won't be surprised at all if they don't cover that spread. I agree. That is a really weird spread. And to me, that looks like a betting trap. So, a lot of people will pick the under. They'll think, oh, how are the Texans going to win by that much? Which could mean that the Texans blow them out also. So. Well, Jonathan thinks the Texans win, but they don't cover the spread. But I'm guessing the majority of gamblers for that game will bet that they don't cover the spread because they're going to look at it that same way. Like, why do they have such a big spread? They're not a good team this year. Houston Oilers and Buffalo Bills were old rivals. Is that right? I forget about these days. I remember being in my dad's truck listening to the Houston Oilers and Warren Moon on the radio. He's from up here in the Pacific Northwest. Let's look at let's just take a minute and look at let's go back and look at these. They've played each other so few times. The one thing, I guess the one thing that is the biggest thing here for the Bills is that 45 is the 9th triangular number, and Buffalo Bills has that gematria of 45. So that is an interesting thing. The last time they played was December 6, 2015. The Bills won that game 30-21. Bills and Texans. It doesn't go back to the Houston Oilers. Are we sure that this is an old rivalry with the Oilers? Because normally it has the old matchups there. Oh, because the Tennessee Titans. That's why I'm not thinking. Well, that is a good thought. Where's the Titans at? So, Bills, Oilers. How many times did they play each other? This is a lot of counting here. Oh. Well, if you want to be extra thorough, how many games is this? So they played 36 games. Oh, so you know what? That means it's their 44th game all time on the date with 44 numerology if you count the old Houston Oilers franchise. But we can look at what happened the last time they met as these teams. The last time they met, the game added to 45 points. And that means that this will be their 45th game all time. This was a good thought to go back and look at the Bills and the Oilers. So they played 36 times as these franchises, 8 times as the new Houston team. So it'll be the 45th game. And for this time, it's the 9th for the Texans and the Bills, which is the 45th triangular number. And 45 points the last meeting. That is something right there. But the Bills lost that last meeting. The Bills lost that last meeting. Well, that might be a thought going forward in weeks forward is anytime a team's playing the Texans to go back and also consider their old record with the Oilers. So let's watch what happens this week with this game. It's going to be the 45th all-time game if you count the old Oilers franchise. Yeah. And it is interesting that the game is 9 days from O'Brien's birthday, again, in light of this being the 9th meeting. Let me come back to the chat real quick. There definitely seems to be a 9 ritual on the game. I won't be surprised if the difference in the score is 9 points. But yeah, something's definitely up with that spread. That spread's bait. It's like if we were fish, somebody threw out a big fat worm for us. Let's see. All right, Rams-Broncos. I have a feeling that the Broncos are going to win and beat the Rams, and the Patriots are going to beat the Chiefs. I think that there might be no undefeated teams. Because, okay, first of all, undefeated, 50, right? Just like how McGregor is 50, and Floyd Mayweather became 50-0 against McGregor, and now this Khabib guy just stayed undefeated, and it was in UFC 229, the 50th prime, and tickets went on sale on the 229th day of the year, 50 days before the fight. But the other thing that's interesting is Defeated has Gematria 50. I thought McGregor was going to become 22-3 and give the guy the first loss. Thought it was all about him, but obviously that wasn't the case. So, Rams-Broncos. Rams 5-0, Broncos 2-3. And remember, this is week 6. Week 6 has that 33 thing going. So, this is the 14th regular season game for these two teams. The Rams lead 8-5. And that means that if they lose, they would be 8-6 from their perspective, and from the Broncos' perspective, with a win, they would be 6-8. Broncos 86, Denver 68. I remember talking about this earlier this year with a Rams matchup, or not a Rams matchup, but a Broncos matchup that went in their favor. For the quarterbacks, this is Goff's 29th game. Big football number, football 29. He's 16-12. On the road, he is 9-4. That means he could pick up his 13th loss in week 6. 13, the 6th prime. 6 also has that gematria of 16. He could stay on 16 wins. This is Goff's 28th regular season game. He's 16-11. On the road again, he's 9-4. This will be Keenum's 46th game. He's 23-22. At home, he is 14-9. He can pick up his 24th win over the Rams. Rams have gematria 24. It's Keenum's 44th regular season game. He's 22-21. He's also 13-9 at home. With regards to his 23rd home win, I should mention this. Home has the gematria 23. But Colorado is also 83, the 23rd prime. And this would probably be the biggest win of Case Keenum's career outside of the playoffs and his little Minnesota miracle. But this would be a big game right here, especially since he's on a new team. It easily is his biggest win with the Broncos. Los Angeles Rams is also 83, the 23rd prime. This game is 253 days after Goff's birthday, or his 254th day of his age. 253 is the 22nd triangular. 254 is a number related to time and Saturn, which is the 6th planet. That's interesting. The game's 239 days after Keenum's birthday. That's the 52nd prime. Los Angeles Rams 52. And the over-under for this game's 52. Remember, that was the number that we used, 239 and 52, to call the Falcons beating the Rams in the playoffs last year. So that number doesn't necessarily go in their favor. The Rams are a 7-point favorite. They look like the team to beat in the NFL, and I feel like I didn't say it out loud. I must not have. Maybe I did, but if I did, I don't remember. If the Rams lost, they'd be 5-1. Rams is also 51, just using the alphabetic order. So, that's a hard one to overlook in terms of what's in the records. This is Sean McVay's 22nd game. He's 16-5, meaning he could become 16-6. Again, 6 has gematria of 16. It's week 6. Vance Joseph's 22nd game, he's 7-14. The game is 263 days after McVay's birthday. It's 24 days after Joseph's birthday. Rams 24. I do like the Broncos to upset here. And let me just take it out to the chat because I have a feeling there's got to be at least one person who disagrees with me. The Jam 7129, just after you're done here, go to YouTube and do a video on sports betting education. Just trying something like that. Somebody will teach you like what spreads mean and over unders. So, and just remember, bet conservative, especially if you're new. So, somebody points out that the Rams could become 7-0 next week against the Packers. I forget what it is. Maybe it's nothing. That is an interesting to look at and consider that. XCL points out, he says, you think it has anything to do with LeBron? Again, it's a LA game in 10/14. I'm thinking about basketball in Colorado. I don't see what that riddle would be. Oh, what we were going to watch in college football today was that USC from LA is playing Colorado, and USC can sweep Colorado, becoming 13-0 against them today. If they win, they'll be 13-0 all time against Colorado. And then tomorrow we have the Colorado-LA NFL match. So maybe tonight, if you can hold off on your bet, if you want to see if we get a big clue in the college football game, USC, Colorado, keep your eyes on that. So we talked about that last night in our Decode, that we liked Tennessee, that they had the upset numbers against Auburn. So if you were here last night for the Decode, we showed that was in the numbers. And I said, maybe I need to just start doing college Decode. This is actually easier to look at. So, and we liked LSU over Georgia as well. So very cool. Very cool. So Martin says, only narratives I see for Texans game is 17-44. I know Josh Allen wears 17 on 17 date numerology. 17 has the gematria of 44. They're tied 4-4 all time. Allen 44. Very interesting. It is, especially now that we know that the old Houston team and the current Houston team, this is going to be the 45th game, and it's 9 days from the Texans. So, yeah, that riddle's tighter than I thought after looking at the old Houston thing. I don't even know who Notre Dame played today. I just looked at the college games that we looked at last night as a group. All right, let's keep it moving. We're going to be here all day. This is taking longer than I expected, but I think this has been a oh, hold up here. I got to plug in my computer. I didn't realize this. Give me 1 second. I thought I was plugged in this whole time. Okay, let's see. So next up, let's just keep it moving. We got things to think about. I know a lot of you guys can use your own minds and maybe figure out the puzzle pieces we're missing right now, but let's do it next. Jaguars at Cowboys. I like the Cowboys in this game in week 6 and both teams becoming 3-3. Cowboys is 33. This is going to be the 7th regular season game between the teams. The series is currently tied at 3-3 for another 33 here. A Cowboy win would make both teams 3-3, as we just said. A Cowboy win would make them 4-3 all time. Dallas Cowboys equals 43. So does Jacksonville. So theoretically, I mean, that could go either way, right? Whoever leads 4-3. But it's this 3-3 piece in week 6 that seems to be a big one for me. Dallas can become 3-0 at home. Again, 113 is the 30th prime. Dallas 113. The Jaguars are 2-2 in Dallas to date. A loss would make them 2-3. Jaguars equals 23. This is Bortles' 70th game. He's 26-43. On the road, he is 8-26. Could get his 44th loss on a 44-date numerology. It's Bortles' 67th regular season game. He's 24-42. On the road, he is 7-25. It's Dak Prescott's 39th game. He's 24-14. At home, he is 12-7. Cowboys has that gematria of 39. He can get his 13th home win. Dallas 13, the 6th prime. He could also improve to 13-7, like 137, the 33rd prime. It's Dak's 37th regular season game. He's 24-13. Again, at home, 12-6. He could be 13-6, the 6th prime. The game's 169 days after Bortles' birthday, the square root of a 13. The game is 77 days after Dak's birthday. Jaguars 77. 77 has the gematria of 49 like Dallas. It's their 7th meeting, square root of 49. For Sean Marone, it's his 24th game. He's 14-9. Can pick up his 10th loss, which connects back to that 39 thing. All-time 29-26. Garrett's 126th game. He's 69-56. The game is 81 days after Marone's birthday, his 82nd day of his age, 200 days, or the 201st day of Garrett's age. This is one of the stronger narratives, I think, of the week in terms of clear numbers. Just way too much lines up in the Cowboys' favor. I just want to see if anyone disagrees. Jamar Smith says, what about the Jags becoming 4-2 and Dallas becoming 2-4 on a 42-24 date numerology? It is a good point. But there's just a whole lot of 33 riding on this game. In years past, I've documented the week 6 33 thing. And also, I like all the 13th home win in week 6 and all that. I think those are really strong relationships. The 4-2 and 2-4 is a good point, a very fair point. But I just think a lot of these things are favorable to the Cowboys, including Bortles picking up his 44th loss on a 44-date numerology. I didn't see too many things. I mean, one of the only things that you could say goes against Dak is perhaps he stays on 24 wins on a 24-day numerology. But I think the other narratives are stronger, 13-6. So. Yeah, Dak Prescott really does have no arm. It is amazing he's in the league. Zach, when you're looking for more clues, always type in Google, the 2 teams followed by predictions. Okay, just to see what you're saying, I'm just going to check it out. Jaguars, Cowboys, predictions. Let's see what that gives us. Isn't anything I've ever done before. Picks predictions from experts who's 15-7 on Cowboys games. Okay, let's just see here. I'm reading along. I don't know if you guys can read the screen. Where's his pick? Where is okay? So it's long pick. So it looks like. Does he say exactly where his pick is? Am I not seeing it? Just reading the narrative of the article, it feels like he's favoring the Jaguars because of how lousy Dak Prescott's been. Down further? Oh, is this something you got? Oh, I see. This is just like a preview thing to get you to where they want you to go for the pick. Okay. Well, that's a thought for the future to look at that for more clues. But welcome to the chat, Dave. Choose a different league next time. Is it so, Martin? Is there a source that you like to go for these predictions to get information? Is there a certain website? I'll come back to that. Let's keep it moving. In my opinion, the narrative stacks nicely for the Cowboys and the Jaguars to even it at 3-3. The one good point though is the 4-2 and 2-4 possibility. It is worth considering, but again, Dak's win record in Week 6, a lot of alignment for the W. Okay, Ravens and Titans. So, Baltimore, 2.5-point favorite, the over-under at 41. This is the 20th regular season game between the teams. Titans equals 20. The Titans lead 10-9. In the playoff, the Ravens lead 2-1. Thus, the Ravens lead, or it's not, I don't know why I wrote lead. What? It's tied all-time 11-11. It's 11 apiece, counting the regular season and postseason. This will be the 23rd game. The last time they played was 49 weeks ago, November 5th, 2017. The Titans won 23-20. And now this time they're going to play their 23rd all-time game and the 20th in the regular season. So what a fitting score last time. And notice the 43 combined points, Titans 43. That number is typically a winner with the Titans. Last week they lost to the Bills in their 43rd matchup, which still has me scratching my head. But we know that's what happened. This is going to be Joe Flacco's 175th game. He's 105-69. On the road, he's 43-50. Tennessee has that gematria of 106. He could pick up his 106th win against Tennessee. It's a date with 44 numerology. He could pick up his 44th road win. It's Flacco's 159th regular season game. He's 95-64. On the road, he is 35-45. Baltimore Ravens have that gematria 96. Could he pick up his 96th win against the Titans? Doesn't mean anything either way. I'm just talking about the 96th win is going to be symbolic. It's Mariota's 48th game. He's 22-25. At home, he's 12-10. He could get his 13th win in Week 6, 13, the sixth prime number. It's Mariota's 45th regular season game. He's 21-24. At home, he's 12-10. 21 is the sixth triangular number. He could stay on 21 wins. He could also get his 25th loss against the Ravens. Ravens 25. The game's 271 days after Flacco's birthday. The game is 16 days before Mariota's birthday, and 6 equals 16. It's Harbaugh's 166th game. It's Vrabel's 6th game. He's 3-2, rookie coach, 43 years old. The game is 21 days after Harbaugh's birthday. That's the 6th triangular number. The game is 61 days after Vrabel's birthday. Also a span of 62 days on a 62-day numerology. This is you know what we should do? That missing variable that I forgot to cover for these games. Let's look at Joe Flacco splits against the Titans. That's probably going to be the most meaningful one since he has the longer career and played more games. Joe Flacco, Tennessee Titans. So he's 1-3 against the Titans. What's very interesting about that is with a loss, he'd become 1-4. 43, the 14th prime, 1-4, a lot like 14. That said, he could also become 2-3 in the 23rd game between the Titans and Ravens franchise. Let's do the same thing here with Marcus Mariota to see if he's ever played the Ravens. He's 1-0 against the Ravens. He could become 2-0 in the 20th game. So that doesn't give us anything definitively either way. What's the Marcus has that gematria 42. So Marcus could theoretically become 4-2, and the Ravens could fall to 3-3. It could also go vice versa. That's a tight one. This is a tight game right here. We'll see if anybody in the chat has the tiebreaker. Well, I don't see anything going on in the chat. The 106 wins with Flacco in Tennessee was the strongest thing I saw. I agree. Out of all the things here, that one is a big one. The 106th in Tennessee. In that 44 on the 44 date numerology. So the Ravens would improve to 4-2 on a date with 42 numerology. You know what? Okay. I'm glad that I'm thinking out loud here. You know how I just talked about how the Baltimore Ravens can get their 96th all-time win? 4-2 and 96 have that very strong relationship. The divisors of 42 sum to 96. There's a lot of words with 96 and 42 gematria. So I think if you made me pick that game, I'd say I like the Ravens. I like Joe Flacco getting 106 and 44 in correspondence with the date numerology. So, also, I like this part about Harbaugh here, the game 21 days after his birthday, the 6th triangular number. Marvin Lewis has that thing going on too, who we like. All right, so Sunday Night Football. Chiefs, Patriots. I think the Rams are going to get upset earlier in the day, and keep an eye on that. I mean, if you're a guy who bets at the last second, if the Rams stay undefeated, I think that gives a stronger possibility of the Chiefs. But because the Patriots could fall to 3-3 in Week 6 in Massachusetts, which has the gematria 33, Tom 33. But here's what I'm thinking is going to happen. This game's on a date with 62 numerology, and I'll remind you one more time. We talked about it at the beginning, but that was hours ago now. Genocide 62-44. This date has 62 and 44 numerology. And I guess we should consider that in light of the Redskins game again. It could happen to them again. But we just saw the Saints beat the Redskins on Christopher Columbus Day 43-19, 62 points. The big play of the game was the 62-yard touchdown for the record setter for Drew Brees. And then we also saw the Dodgers beat the Braves 6-2. So here's what I'm looking at. This is the 35th regular season game for these two teams. The Chiefs lead 18-13-3. 35 has been a huge number in Tom Brady's career. Tom Brady, 35, QB, 35, football, 35. This date has a life lesson number of 35. We got the hottest young QB in the game versus Tom Brady. Don't forget that young QB, Patrick Mahomes Jr., his name equals 99, like the 99th NFL season. Patrick Mahomes Jr., 99. He's playing in New England in prime time. With regards to Sunday Night Football, numbers that we've seen that have been huge this year are 10. And Kansas City has that receiver, I think his name's Tyreek Evans, that wears number 10. I suspect he'll have a good game no matter what happens to the Chiefs here. No, what is his name? Number 10 for the Chiefs. What's his name? Tyreek Hill. And I believe his name also sums to 55, if I'm not mistaken, the 10th triangular number. Oops. Yeah, it does. So I think that this guy is going to have a great game here, no matter who wins. We've seen 10 just be huge all year on Sunday Night Football. That trend should not stop tonight. So anyway, in the playoffs, the Patriots lead the Chiefs 1-0. So that means the Chiefs lead 18-14-3 all time, and this will be the 36th game. That genocide thing is the big thing that has me thinking the Patriots are going to win this game over the Chiefs in light of what just happened on Monday Night Football. Mahomes is 6-0. On the road, he is 4-0. If he loses tonight, he'd be 6-1. He'd get his first loss. 6-1's like 61 the 18th prime. He could also fall to 4-1 against 41-year-old Brady. Consider this game's 112 days before the Super Bowl, the big Super Bowl number. Super Bowl equals 41 and 112 in our base ciphers here. Isn't it interesting that Super Bowl is 1407 in Jewish and might have from the first Sunday to Super Bowl Sunday, it's 147 days. But big Super Bowl numbers here. Could become 4-1 on the road in this game. Tom Brady's 294th game. He's 226-67 at home, 131-24. Big Super Bowl number. He could get his 132nd win tonight. United States of America, 132. Just think about that in light of Patriots and natives and, the symbolism of it. The genocide that gave way to America. This is Tom Brady's 256th regular season game. That's the 55th prime. Again, 55 is the 10th triangular number, also the 10th Fibonacci number. 10's been huge on Sunday Night Football every week this year. Right now he's 199-57. He can get his 200th win. 200 has the gematria of 132, which would go nicely with his 132nd all-time win at home. So that's a nice riddle. For the regular season, he can get his 111th regular season win at home in October, and this would be a great win for the fans, Patriots got off to a rough start. They're getting it together. Hottest team in the league, well, in the AFC at least, the Chiefs. Big time. It's also his 129th home game, and in Jewish gematria, America equals 129. So I see this big ritual with the white Patriots slaughtering the native team. The game is 27 days after Mahomes' birthday. Ritual 27. The game is also 72 days after Brady's birthday, which is interesting. 27, 72. Added up, 99. Anyway, Bill Belichick, this will be his 294th game. He's 217 and 76. It's his 374th game all time, 253 and 120. 254 is a number that has a lot to do with time. So he can get his 254th win. It's Andy Reid's 86th game with Kansas City. Think about 86 to get rid of, like we did to the natives. He's 58 and 27. He could get his 28th loss. The word kills 28 for the record. Also 44, like how today has the 44 numerology. It's his 310th game all time. He's 188, 120, and 1. The game is 181 days after Belichick's birthday. That's the 42nd prime. The Patriots can improve to 4-2 tonight. 4-2. It's 209 days after Reid's birthday, and I like the Patriots. Does anybody out there object? XCL points out that 55 was a horrible number for the Patriots in Super Bowl 52. They became 5-5 in Minneapolis, and number 55 for the Eagles had the sack fumble that put the game away. I wouldn't hold that against the Patriots this season because, again, this season's all about – I'm pretty sure that the reason these numbers keep hitting again this year is because of this right here. Again, this season began on the 26th of Elul, a date with 26 numerology. I'm fully expecting the AFC to pick up their 26th Super Bowl. We saw the big 26 ritual opening night of the NFL season. We called that one right. But I think that's what it's all about here with these numbers this year. So something else to think about is this week's 16 weeks to the Super Bowl. Patriots have that connection to 53, the 16th prime. And again, we fully expect 41-year-old Tom Brady to be there. At least I do. So, and this very well could be the preview of the AFC Championship. Seeing if we got anything here. Tom can become fine. I was just about to look at the splits, so you read my mind. I just want to verify that that's true. I was saying the split will probably put us over the top here on what things are. So let's see what Tom Brady's record is against the Chiefs. Don't forget about the history of. So Tom Brady is 4-3 against the Chiefs today. Okay, you could say he could come to 4-4 on a date with 44 numerology. But I'm liking the 5-3 a lot more in light of Patriots 53. This year, the season, it's 16 weeks to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, that's a big one right there. I don't think the 4-4 genocide narrative makes sense for the Patriots to get beat by the Chiefs. Maybe in an alternate reality. Let's see. Yeah, Minneapolis has the gematria of 55 XCL. That was the big 5-5 ritual there. If the Chiefs drop to 5-1, just another thought about the Chiefs dropping to 5-1. Remember that the Patriots played in Super Bowl 51 in Houston where they beat the Falcons, right? Houston has that gematria of 112. This game's 112 days before the Super Bowl. So another potential little riddle there. Yeah, sports gematria, that's a good point with the records. Tannehill had a 3.5 QB rating against the Patriots. I did not know that. That's hilarious. That sounds like an impossibly bad record. Bill Belichick has that 61 gematria. Yep. That's what the narrative. I could see Pat Mahomes potentially having a bad game tonight and listening to the commentators talk about how Bill Belichick's the greatest coach in the world. And then I wish somebody with common sense would be in the booth. Well, what about how he just got his ass kicked by the Lions and Matt Patricia, who couldn't even get a win? What was that about? Greatest coach ever. Martin Brown says, good riddle for the Chiefs if you look at that 44 numerology and Andy Reid. Andy Reid does have the 44 connection, but it's just it's hard for me to imagine them getting the better of that narrative being the Chiefs and what we just saw with the genocide riddle on Monday on Columbus Day. We're not even a full week past that. Jack D says 17 and 10 have been prevalent this far. Yeah, absolutely. And if you've been decoding the player names, so have 55 and 26. So I think all of those numbers are huge this year. They're the God numbers. In case you weren't here earlier, I mentioned how the Vesica Piscis, the shape of the football in sacred geometry, that shape is considered to be God. So that's how it all fits together. Yeah, Saquon Barkley, what did he just do? He just had, 9 receptions for 99 yards? And they were talking about how if he'd gotten one more yard, he would have set a Giants record, the first player ever to have 100 rushing yards and 100 receiving yards. It's funny the announcers didn't say, oh, what a coincidence, the 99th NFL season. Oh, very cool stat, Sports Gematria. So Bill Belichick is 23-0 against QBs under age 25, and tonight he can get win number 24 on a date with 24 numerology. So I'm liking the Patriots. You know something we could look at real quick? The Chiefs beat the Patriots at home in prime time last year to start the 98th NFL season. Let's just measure from that game to this game and see if there's anything meaningful in that here. Patriots, Chiefs, head-to-head. Let's see here. That was the opener last year. I'm sure you guys remember that game. The first time they ever – that's interesting that the first time these I forgot that the Chiefs used to be the Dallas Texans. That's right. The first time they ever played was on the 322nd day of the year, 3/22, November 18th. That was also a date with 89 numerology. 89 is the 24th prime, just coming back to that 24 thing. Chiefs lost that game 14-42. But where's the so here it was, September 7th, 2017. The Chiefs won 42-27. Let's just measure. How many weeks ago was that? September 7th, 2017 to... Oops. 57 weeks and 4 days. It's also, if you don't count the span, it's 402 days later. 402, and the Patriots can become 4-2 tonight. So 57 weeks, that's a Super Bowl number right there. I won't be surprised one bit if this is our AFC championship. Yeah, absolutely, the flag thing. Odell threw for 57 yards and had 131 receiving last week. I didn't know that Odell had a pass in the game. Huh. That's right. Sunday Night Football has the 99 thing going on. The big shocker for me earlier this year when the Patriots lost to the Lions in Sunday Night Football was that Tom Brady could have picked up his 225th win all-time on Sunday Night Football, and then he didn't. And I thought, what in the world? I mean, Why? If Mahomes win, Bill Belichick record can fall to 23-1. That is interesting. That is a good point. The 21st triangular matters because 21 is the 6th triangular number. But I see the genocide ritual playing out, and it gives the commentators. Well, I mean, they can talk about anything, but you know, if the Patriots win, they'll say, "Uh-oh, are the Patriots back on top?" You know, so. All right, we got one more game here, you guys, and then I got to go back and do all the splits and touch up a few other things, and then I'll make the quick audio of what I like for picks and give you some things that I think might be wise parlays. But this is going to be, for those of you who've been here, I mean, there's a lot of tight narratives this week. But, okay, here's Monday Night Football, October 15th. We got the 49ers 1-4, 0-3 on the road, traveling to Green Bay, who is 2-2-1 and 2-0-1 at home. Green Bay's a 9.5-point favorite. I imagine they'll cover. And the over-under's at 46.5. So here's what's up with this game. October 15th, 2018, date with 63 numerology. Aaron Rodgers equals 63 in our most pure cipher. Rodgers can get his 63rd home win. And you have to know the history of Rodgers. The year he was drafted, he expected to go number 1 overall to the 49ers, playing at Cal and growing up as a 49er fan. And the story was that he wore a Joe Montana jersey under his draft day suit, and instead he got passed on for Alex Smith. And supposedly the reason Alex Smith got drafted by the 49ers was because Mike McCarthy, who was the coordinator of the 49ers at the time, liked Alex Smith more than Aaron Rodgers. He thought he was the more athletic player, the more versatile player. And then lo and behold, Aaron Rodgers ends up getting coached by Mike McCarthy his whole career. So, big riddle right here with just the date numerology alone. Again, Aaron Rodgers, 63, can get his 63rd home win, do it against the team that he cheered for growing up. This looks like Aaron Rodgers' day in a big way. And notice that over-under's at 47. We see a lot of Packers games and with scores with connection to 47. Again, the Freemason compass is the 47 degrees above the big G, the 7th letter. This is the 60th regular season game. The Packers lead 31-27-1. Packers can get their 32nd win and improve to 3-2 on the season, ignoring the tie. In the playoffs, the Packers lead 4-3. Thus, the Packers lead 35-30-1 all time, and this is the 67th game. They can get their 36th win on a date with 36 numerology. This is Beat Hard, or Bethard's 8 game. He's 1-6. That means he can become 1-7, like 17, the 7th prime, like G7, like Mason 17. It's Rodgers' 164th game. No. That's got to be a typo. I meant to type 163. He has the same amount of games played as Smith. So I know it's his 163rd game. They've played the exact same amount of games, these two. I meant to hit the 3 there. Anyway, he's 105-57-1, which is correct. That's 100 and... Wait a minute. I just got to check real quick. How could he have possibly gotten ahead of Smith in games? Oh, did one of them have a bye week? Hold on, I just got to check here. Did the Redskins have a bye? Maybe they did. Maybe that's how he got ahead of them. Yeah, okay, the Redskins had a bye, so never mind. They did have the same amount of games. I'm tripping. It is his 164th game. Okay, inconsequential anyway. He's 105-57-1. At home, he is 62-16. Again, he can get that 63rd win. This game is 33 days before Bethard's birthday, MNF 33. I pointed this out a number of times. Usually you don't want the 33 connected to you on Monday Night Football. It's like you're the ritual sacrifice. This game is 49 days before Rodgers' birthday. And who's he playing? The 49ers. Don't forget NFL equals 49. America 49, Super Bowl 49. 49ers hosted the golden anniversary of the Super Bowl. They won one Super Bowl over the Chargers, 49 with 49 points. Anyway, this will be Shanahan's 22nd game. That's the 49ers coach. He's 7-14. He can pick up his 15th loss, 47 the 15th prime. Won't be surprised if the score is right at 47. Mike McCarthy's 198th game. He's 123, 72-2. The game is 61 days or a span of 62 days before Shanahan's birthday. The game is 27 days, span of 28 before McCarthy's birthday. Again, the reason this seems like such a clear call is because of this right here. 63-day numerology, Rodgers' 63rd win over a very symbolic team in light of his history as a football fan, a football player, the NFL draft. So I imagine the Packers beat the 49ers pretty good. The 49ers are looking like a lowly team this year. Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt on knee day. You guys didn't catch that with Jimmy G and his knee injury. He got hurt September 23rd. Remember, that's the day that has everything to do with the flag. Just like how Colin Kaepernick, the ex-49er, he took a knee for the first time on the 239th day of the year. Jonathan's mixing in some parlays with college football. Congrats on the LSU win. I saw somebody say they won on Tennessee earlier. Yeah, we did a nice decode together last night. I think I'm going to start doing that every week now, and I'll start putting out some college picks too, because, I mean, college doesn't even take that long to decode. I can decode a college game in a fraction of the time I decode an NFL game. If you guys missed last night's live decode of football and you got time, I'd check it out. We showed just how beautifully it all lines up. We just started with the date numerology, and we looked at games, and just everything fell into place. Oh. Did I forget to mention that part about the 49ers-Packers game? I did. It's the I think I skipped it when I was talking about it, but it's the game. It's the day leaving 17 days left in the year in Green Bay 77. And when you write out 77, it's 49. So this game is just such a big fat Green Bay Packers ritual. There's no way the 49ers win that game. Yeah, MNF 15, great point, Jonathan. Always look at the gematria for the night. MNF got all these connections. 49ers fall to 1-5 on MNF. The only thing that makes me wonder is, are we going to see all the teams with this tied record move together again this week? Because if they all move together, that's what really murdered my picks last week, is I thought that all those teams would become 1-3-1 in a big Super Bowl ritual, and none of them did. They all went 2-2-1. So that was damaging. I read that riddle completely wrong. I won't be surprised if on this score right here, something like 32-15. That would be the ultimate mocking of a score too. I would laugh so hard if the score was 32-15 in this one. You guys, if you don't have any last comments or questions, I'm going to go back and do all the splits, and I'm going to come back and make a quick audio file with picks and give you some things that I think are reasonable parlays. And again, I got to advise you guys are cautious with your picks. I mean, I had a guy writing emails to me this week about how he put $3,000 down last week on the big parlay because he was trying to make like $1 million. And I'm thinking, man, okay, I know we got it right the week before, but this gambling stuff is no guarantee. We're trying to read the script. We're going to hit sometimes. Sometimes we're going to miss. I mean, $3,000 is just like, God, I mean, unless you're a millionaire, that's a lot of money to throw out there to bet. So I always say bet conservative, you guys. Make small bets and try to win big. So always bet 5% of your capital. To me, that sounds like a lot to bet. 5% of your capital. That means if you're worth what? If you're worth $1,000, you're betting 50. If I only have $1,000, I wouldn't be willing to bet 50. You got to bet 10% of your bankroll. Martin Brown has a great final stat there for the Redskins Cam Newton matchup on the screen. If you guys aren't seeing that, he writes, here's some, or for Redskins closure, it's Cam Newton's 99th Sunday game. Hey, Martin, where did you find that stat? I don't know where to look up. Is that in the splits? Is that under splits, Sunday, Monday, Thursday games? Because I got to find that one right there. That's huge. But again, we know Redskins is 99. That's why we liked him in the offseason. And he can get his 42nd loss on the 42-day numerology, and we know how that goes with the blank history. I think 1% of your bankroll. I'm a conservative person. I mean, 1% of your bankroll, that sounds more like it. You made it $100 this week, bet $1. You made $1,000, bet 10. My way to I'll tell you what my secret is, you guys. I've never had it. Well, out of college, I had a job that paid really well. I only did that for 2 years, and then I quit and worked at a group home for $10 an hour. But I did work a lot of overtime, so I'd end up making $15 an hour for like 20 hours of the week. But the way I always got ahead in life was by saving. I always save, and I was smart with my expenditures. I never blew money, and that's how I was able to get ahead slowly over time and get to the point where I could take 5 years off from working for somebody and, spit out gematria all day. But you guys know what else I did in those 5 years that I wasn't working. I mean, I did have a little side income from being the medicine man, but I didn't need a lot to stay afloat. So I need to see where you get this Sunday game stuff. Where do you get the Sunday games, Martin? Can you tell me that? Where do you get the Sunday game stat? I got to know that one. Tom wants to know what I mean by medicine man. Tom hasn't been around as long. Well, I'll let you think about it, Tom. I'll let you think about what kind of medicine up here in the Pacific Northwest I might have been pushing. I'll tell you what, it wasn't pharmaceuticals. Check splits. Okay, so it's in the splits. Let's see here. I have never noticed that before. Sunday games. I got to start looking at that one. Okay. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Dude. Okay, you guys, I'm going to get, okay. I can't believe I've overlooked so many of these things for so many years. Even early afternoon and late, I'm going to start looking at all this stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Yeah, I think Tom figured out what kind of medicine. I used to have a sleepy kind, more thoughtful, creative kind, healing kind. Anyway, I'm going to go do all the splits that I should have done. I'm going to even measure from all the owners, and I'm going to come back and make a quick video. And I'm probably not going to talk about all the relationships with the owners, but when I make the audio file, I'm going to link the discussion thread below, and then I'll have all the updated information in there. So you can scroll through the post and you can see, what I found about the owners and things lining up. Because like we looked at that Cardinals game and it got real interesting the way it lined up with the Cardinals owner. All right, you guys, really appreciate all your help and you sticking through, and glad some of you guys made some money on the college games. Makes me feel better because I've given you guys a lot of losers in the last week. I think that was the worst week ever this past week. I don't know what happened. Normally 6 is my number, so we'll see how we do on the rest of week 6. Very welcome, everyone. Thanks, Special K. Nice to have all of you here, and good luck this week. Stay tuned. I'll get that audio file out as quick as I can. It's probably going to take me about an hour to comb through everything here. And the audio file, I'll try to keep it 10 minutes or less. Keep on keeping on, everybody. Again, appreciate all of you supporting and coming out and participating. Start doing this every weekend. And I think I'm also going to turn the Friday night thing into a regular thing too. So I don't really have much of a life these days. My lady, she's studying in school. We don't really have time to go out and do anything anymore. Plus, we live in the middle of nowhere, so it's not like there is anything to do. So I'll spend some more time doing these live streams, and we'll all get better together at decoding the games. All right, until next time.